Most expensive cities in the world. Before we start, I'd want you to hit that red subscribe button so you never miss out on any of our videos. When it comes to travel, you want to have a comfy stay, scrumptious food, adventure activities, and explore all famous places in your budget. Most of you try to get the best deals on hotels, flights, and even restaurants so that you don't go out of budget. Curious to know which cities will cost you the most to travel around? We have listed below the top 10 expensive vacation destinations in the world. Number 10, Singapore. The city of Singapore is the most expensive city in the world to visit by tourists. Transportation costs heaps of money in this expensive city. If you want to buy and use a car, then you should have a huge savings for it. Singapore's government keeps the cars rates highest to manage the total cars on the road. Other than this, clothes and even groceries are higher in rates. It is the most developed city with having buzzing foodie culture. It is mostly visited by honeymoon couples, professionals, and people with great wealth.
Is growing. This rapid influx of people creates possibility, but it also creates challenges.
Number 9, Paris, France. You can't neglect the famous city of France, Paris, that welcomes a huge number of tourists every year. Paris is also known as the city of romance and famous among the lovey-dovey couples. It is the most expensive vacation destination to visit by tourists. People just love to explore the quaint cafes, chocolates, wines, pastries, and pretty Eiffel Tower at night. It is the best but expensive city to visit by newlywed couples. The royal castles, lavish cathedrals, and impressive architecture in the city make it worth a visit for tourists around the world.
Thank goodness, and Dave got us some nice breakfast and brought it back to the room, which was really good. Thanks, honey. Where are we going today, hon?
Number 8, Hong Kong. Hong Kong is the most expensive cities in the world to live in. However, you can still find cheaper options for eating, outdoor activities, and exploring the city's landscape. You can choose public transport for a commute and open markets for good. Apart from this, you can enjoy free hiking, beaches, and mountains on your vacation. Cost jump when you want to eat international cuisines, stay in a luxury hotel, and demand fancy drinks. Number 7, Zurich. Zurich is referred to as the most expensive city to visit in Europe. The whole of Switzerland is known for being a costly destination. A trip to Zurich for a week usually costs around SFR1 $310 per head. However, based on the spending habits and the comfort, you can still choose to explore the city on a low budget. The cost of transportation and accommodation are significantly expensive in Zurich. To save money while touring the city, you can choose an apartment rather than a hotel, supermarkets for food rather than going to restaurants, and go for public transport instead of a rental. Number 6, New York. When you talk about the most expensive countries to visit, New York can be neglected. Undoubtedly, it is the most expensive city to visit and live in. Making a budget trip to New York can be challenging, but still, it can be done if you do little research earlier before visiting the city. You can look for food at cheap prices at few places, and transportation charges can also be saved while choosing public transport. However, you can't save more on accommodation and adventure activities. Number 5, Los Angeles. For all those wanderlusts who are ready to spend on their vacation, LA is the best choice for them. However, when it comes to budget traveling, then this is not a good option. Tourists in Los Angeles will have to deal with expensive accommodations in hotels, tourist activities, food, and even rental cars. However, you can reduce a bit of cost by sharing the accommodation and having food from the street markets. Number 4, Tokyo, Japan. Japan is not a cheap place to take a tour, but yes, it is not prohibitively expensive country than you may think. You may still visit the city of Tokyo in the budget if you choose street food or cheap fast food restaurants, accommodation in hotels, and transportation through trains or buses. However, Tokyo has the most expensive hotels and restaurants, but you can still find some hotels under $100 per night. Number 3, Dubai. Dubai is the most popular for the world-class shopping experience, iconic buildings, and luxury hotels. It has a self-proclaimed 7-star hotel, opulent mall, extraordinary nightlife, and whatnot. It is indeed not a cheap destination to visit by tourists, but yes, it also depends on the spending habits of a person. You can choose to budget hotels to save money on your accommodation, cheap restaurants instead of fancy ones, and public transport for travel. Number 2, Sydney. It comes under top 10 most expensive cities in the world to visit, and the 3rd position for the most expensive city for dinner out. Food and drink is costly in this city, but there are a few things you can do for free. You can explore the free museums, art galleries, beautiful beaches, stunning public coastal walks that allow you to enjoy the spellbinding natural beauty of Sydney, avoid expensive restaurants, and choose to have authentic meals at cheap spots. Number 1, London. While London is also one of the most expensive cities in the world, you can still plan a visit to this low city on a low budget. However, you'll have to skip the luxury and much more comfortable to do so. Choose to have a budget accommodation where you have a kitchen to cook your own meals and visit mainly free accommodation. You can also save more on air tickets by booking them through Ease My Trip. That's all for today. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel so you never miss any amazing video from us.